Penn State graduate, started a company called Real Interface right out of college, and that was a services company. We built custom software for folks for about a decade, and we ended up exiting that, and I started a company based off of a patent that I had for deductive reasoning. It's called the Real Interface Expert System. It was initially used to shrink sets to buy things more quickly in the old days of shopping carts. Ended up being used in disaster medicine as well as oncology research, because it would match patients for clinical trials. So we went from selling beer and sneakers online to being cancer researchers, and were acquired by a CRO. That was the two companies prior to Quist. And after that, I have kids growing up very differently than I do, and had some passion about project-based learning and getting kids to kind of do projects for their education versus just doing straightforward rote memorization. And that sounded awesome, but it didn't sound like a business, so we found a way to match that up with the makerspace, with the robotics and drones and things like that. So what we do is we teach kids math, science, language arts, art with drones and fire and explosions and robots, and it's kind of the best job on the planet. You walk into my office and it looks like a robot threw up in the middle of it, but it's a fantastic job. Most significant event in my life is marrying my wife. She's the biggest change agent that's kind of ever hit this whirlwind of a person. Getting me to channel my energy was really, really important to me. I was very wild in high school and college, and there was no overt piece to it because she married that guy. But helping me get down on what I needed to do for my first company and make it a real company versus kind of a band of crazy people out in the early days of the web, and helping me change how I approach myself and my health and everything. And never super heavy-handed, but definitely would not have done it without Laura. The most exciting things that I've done that we can talk about on the camera is I love to do offshore kayaking, and I find the hurricanes at the end of the season, and I have friends that go out with me, and we do the pre or post waves hurricanes in the Chesapeake. We just did one last year that was completely stupid and ridiculous, but really on the edge of frightening and exciting last year. That was pretty awesome. That's the toughest one. I want to travel with my children. That seems pretty simple. We're kind of older parents of younger kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. Going to a new country for the first time with my kids in tow, that's something that's less adventuresome, but something really important to me. I think that getting my kids out into the world is a big deal. And for me personally, I want to do a Hawaii paddle called the Molokai, which is a 30-mile open water kayak race. That's kind of one of my big bucket list items. The shift's another word, or pivot's another word for shift. And we shifted from a services company, to a hardware, to a product company. Making sure that you look at opportunities around you and don't miss them when they're running straight by you. We shifted from this current company to very more of a retail play to a real mission-based company. Being able to really change accessibility and outcomes in education with project-based learning. We started scratching the surfaces when, almost 5 years ago, not quite 5 years ago, when we were first looking at the model, and then being able to see that, what we're doing with the robots and the drones to supplement everyday education. We went from thinking this is a good supplement to this is how you should teach. You should teach everything like this. The retention is better. So shifting from, hey, this is supplemental to this is core, and now helping hopefully the education world shift into that too. You know, we have some of the biggest education product companies in our partner portfolio, people like Sphero Education. I mean, they're amazing. They've changed their approach, and just watching them make sure that kids are learning through projects and enabling them, plus 20 other companies now. That's a big change. My greatest hope for the world is if the world can listen to each other and actually change their mind. I think that's the biggest challenge right now, not just in the States, but elsewhere, or anybody. I mean, actually engaging with somebody and then allowing yourself to change your mind. Maybe not whole cloth, but I think that's an opportunity. I think because of lots of conflict, that's actually an opportunity that could happen now. I would love to see people actually say, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm walking into a conversation thinking I'm going to completely argue with you, stop, and then allow my mind to be changed, maybe 1% or 100%. But most folks that I've seen have been unwilling to this point. So if the world can listen and maybe change their mind a little bit about how they approach things.